Welcome to Diary of an Ex-Ho. I'm Cheri Hardman. I'll be your ex-ho. And today's guest is JoJo Blacco. So sit back, enjoy the episode, and remember the old saying, always a bridesmaid when you're a hoe. Well, I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You look fantastic. I knew I couldn't show up in my nightgown, so I wore my New Year's Eve outfit just for you.
You know, I was trying to compete with you. I was just like, I know she's not going to get on there and look crazy, so I got to go ahead and I got to glam it up too. So I was trying to compete with you.
There we go. All right. So the first thing we always do is a marry, shag, kill.
Okay.
So I have 3 people for you, and I picked them out of a joke of yours that I saw on your Facebook page. So
okay.
All right. So share the screen. All right, you can see that?
Yes.
So you're going to marry one, you're going to shag one, and you're going to kill one.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to marry Morgan Freeman because he probably got a nice bag. I'm gonna I'm gonna shag Cat Williams and I'm gonna kill Pete Davidson.
Okay, there we go.
I don't think I haven't even explained those other two.
Probably not. Yeah. uh, would you rather watch someone or be watched?
Be watched. I feel like it's so weird to like watch someone, but I would much rather be watched. Like I feel like it's more cooler to be the person doing the act and not being the person that's like the watcher.
Well, and like looking at both of us, I think we both like attention.
I would say so. I think that's a fair conclusion to make.
Yeah. And what did you grow up with your parents?
Yes, I did. Yes, I actually had both parents till I was like 12, and then my dad was like, "Oh, I'm not doing this marriage thing anymore." But yeah, I had both parents growing up.
Okay. What did they call private parts, or what did you use in your family for?
Well, my parents were very strongly Christian, so for the most part, they either said private parts or they were just like wee wee, or like they made some like cute little name for it. But I'm just like, that sounds dumb. I don't like.
Right. So up until you were 12, they were together. Do you remember like were they affectionate with each other? Did you feel like they loved each other?
Yeah, I mean, at that age, I didn't really feel like I knew what affection was all the way. Like, I wasn't really even hugged like that per se. So, like, it was kind of like what I perceived affection to be, and they seemed like they was cool. Like, if that makes sense. So, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, yeah. Um, do you feel like they were a good role model for like how a relationship should be?
I feel like it was a good role model of what not to do in a relationship. So,
The good old reverse role model. Yeah.
yes, the good old reverse psychology.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about what I call like sexual awakening. So, like when you first noticed in the world, there's something going on here that I didn't know about before, whether it was something that happened to you, changes you noticed in your body, things you just started picking up on. Can you tell me about that?
Actually, yes. I always tell people the story. The first time that I got a hard on, or like I experienced arousal, I watched Batman Forever with Val Kilmer and Jim Carrey. And I don't know if you remember how that movie starts out, but literally in the first 5 minutes of that movie, it's like Batman getting suited up and they just show bat ass. And then right after bat ass, they show bat crotch. And I'm just like, oh, what's happening here? Like, and that was literally the first. I was like, and then like I felt my pants getting tight. I'm just like, oh, what's this feeling? What's this? And so
Was
that
that
was
like, had you heard about erections before, or was that totally?
that was
So did
totally
you?
new to me.
So did you feel like there's something wrong with me, or is it like, oh, this feels good?
it was more so like this feels good, but what do I do with it? Because it took me like I would say maybe 3 or 4 years before I even like learned what masturbation was. So like it took me a while before I was like, oh, that feels good, but what do I like? What does it do
Right.
now?
Right.
I need a manual.
Did you have any celebrity crushes?
Yes. I'm ashamed to admit my celebrity crushes now because of what they look like, but my celebrity crushes when I was coming up was like Britney Spears and Pamela Anderson and like any member of NSYNC.
So you back then had crushes on males and females both.
Hmm.
It's always been that way for you, or
Yeah, it's pretty much always been the way for me. And I thought like cause I grew up down south, so like I was always made to feel weird about that. But like I don't know, that was always just what I gravitated towards. It's like, oh well, he's cute too, and she's kind of cute too, and that was always my outlook.
so you were open about that?
I was open about it with my parents, and I was pretty much open when people kind of like. It was more so like not even being open. It was just like how I was, and then people just picked up on it.
Right. Yeah. Uh, can you think of? Well, you already kind of answered that, but we'll see. I'll still ask it. Uh, you told me about Batman. Was there any
Hmm.
other mainstream movie that had a scene in it that really did it for you?
I wouldn't say mainstream movie, but and that's probably where like all of my sexual experiences came from was I saw like this really weird Robin Hood like sex porn parody when I was like really young, and that was my first time seeing like actual sex on the screen, and so I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I've never seen this scene before, but I just remember that like sticking with me, and it stuck with me for a long time. And also the reason why we didn't have cable in the house anymore after that. It was like no more cable for this motherfucker.
um, okay. So do you watch porn now?
Yes.
You have like a go-to category that you're willing to admit?
Not really a go-to category. I can tell you like my most recent categories. Lately I've had a very strong interest into like blue pill men, which is pretty much like old white guys who like will have sex with like younger 20 something, 30 something man or female. I also have a thing for gang bangs of any sort, doesn't matter who's involved. I mean, I feel like that's anybody. And like cuckold porn is also kind of like a thing that I'm kind of into, but it really degrees on who the cuckold is. Because if it's an ugly
Right.
cuckold, then it's not
Right.
as fun. So, but those are like the top ones I would say at the current moment.
Okay, that's interesting. So I have some questions about that.
Okay.
So the older men one, are you attracted to older men, or is that
Not really. And that's I feel like it was kind of weird, but it's more so just like the hmm. I guess I never put that much thought into it, but I really don't know why I like that. It's more
okay?
so just it's very interesting to me. It's very it's arousing to me.
Right, right. I know that's weird because like I always gravitate towards like stepmom and stepdad porn. I have no idea why because I would I've never been attracted to any of my step but
Hmm.
just something I think it's the taboo like oh I'm not supposed to do this thing that
Right.
yeah. Um, what's your definition of amazing sex?
My definition of amazing sex is sex where both parties or all parties involved enjoy themselves. Um, Something where you feel like you wasn't even your current plane, if that makes sense. Like I feel like amazing sex is sex that makes you gravitate beyond where you currently are.
Hmm, that's a good definition. Um, are you looking for anything right now? Like, are you looking for a relationship? Are you in one? Are you just here to see what's happening? I don't know, what do you got going on?
Well, I am currently in a relationship, actually, as we speak, and I've been with my partner for 9 months now, so it's pretty nice.
Oh, good. How's your body image?
What do you mean by that?
Like, how do you feel about your body?
I've always had like a love-hate relationship with my body because like as you can see, I'm very thin. And if you ask anyone that is like, I don't know, 50 pounds bigger than me, they would say that they would want my body. But sometimes it's like skinny people get shamed just as much as bigger people do. So I don't know, it's a love-hate relationship. Sometimes I love it, sometimes it's like,
Right. Do you have any sexual regrets?
um, not having sex sooner.
Really?
Hmm.
Uh, how old were you and why do you feel that way?
I was 14 when I had sex for the first time, and I feel like if I would have did it sooner, I wouldn't have embarrassed myself as much as I did when I did it, if that makes sense.
But at 14, you're just a baby.
I mean, I agree with that sentence, but where I live, everybody else was already doing that by 14.
Were
I
you
was a late bloomer.
were you
Hmm.
down south? Were you down south still then? Yeah,
In
yeah,
Mississippi, yeah.
yeah. My mom's from Georgia,
And they
and
was like fucking at like 12 down there. So
yeah,
like,
my mom was pregnant with me when she was 15. Yeah.
yeah, that
She
makes
said she
sense.
was engaged when she was 10. I'm like, oh, come on, mother, you know. So I get that. I heard all the stories and
Hmm.
okay, that makes a little more sense. And you know, people think that, like I said, you're just a baby. People think that's weird. But when you're immersed in that culture, it does just seem normal,
Right. It was like
natural.
that was the only option. It was like go have sex or like go to the park and smoke. Like, it was like pick your vices here, pick your vice.
Do you have anything on your sexual bucket list?
Yes. I want to actually we were talking about it earlier. I have never been involved in a situation where like I was like uh just watched. So I would want to be in a couple situation where I'm just being watched, if that makes sense.
Oh, so you wanted to be in a cuckold situation, so not like on stage or in front of a group, or it would be
No, nothing that exposed. More so private, but also like with another party at the same
okay. I'm going to tell you a story that I never tell anyone, but
time. Okay.
you just made me think of it, and I might take this out, but I'll probably leave it in. I'm an open book, but one of my exes was like big into watching stuff, and
Hmm.
so we were kind of in this on and off phase, and he knew I had a date with somebody else, so he really wanted to be in the bedroom closet watching while we did it, while I did it with this other guy. So we did that. The other guy didn't know, and then my ex kept making noises in the closet.
Oh God.
So if you're
What a
interested,
vibe.
I was so mad at him. Yeah. So that could have ended very horribly, you know.
Yes, it could have. The other guy's probably like, you got a dog in the closet or
Yeah.
something? What's that noise?
Uh, what's your Instagram?
At JoJo Blacco.
Okay. Now this is going to come out like 2 weeks from tomorrow. Do you have anything to promote?
2 weeks from tomorrow. What day would that land on?
That's going to be like, what's tomorrow? It was the 10th, so it'll be the 24th, January 24th. It'll come out.
Oh well, all the things that I have going on will be done by then. So yeah,
Okay.
not really.
People can follow you on Instagram.
They
Um,
definitely can.
all right. So now I'm just gonna sit back and listen, and I want you to tell me a story about an entertaining sex story, and I'll just sit and listen.
Okay. I actually have a really good one. This was when I was still very mass presenting, so it's a kind of funny story just for that reason alone. I would say it was probably like 6 years ago. It was like Thanksgiving, and I was at this friend's house, and we were all partying and drinking and all the sorts of the things. And I had a friends with benefits at the time, and at this point, I had got pretty lit, so I was like, okay, well, shit, I'm gonna call my little boo thing over. We gonna do some little thing, you know. Da, da, da. And so we were drinking Four Locos, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure you're old enough to know that Four Locos will put you out really, really, really fast and make you do some very questionable things you probably would not have did without said Four Locos. And so she came over, picked me up from the house. But by this point, I was very belligerently drunk. And so she pretty much had to carry me out. So she's carrying me out. I have an arm on her shoulder. She's walking me to her car. We have nowhere to go to have sex for real. So we drive around for a while and she pulls into some random Burger King parking lot and we do the do. We do the things. And now she's like, okay, I'm gonna take you back now. Well, by this point, I have unloaded said production, penis production, and so I am out of any type of energy, any type of value that I might have had walking on my own two legs. That is all gone now. So we get back to the house that she had picked me up from, and she's literally carrying me in her arms now like a damsel, like fucking Superman Lois Lane, like she's carrying me because she was a bigger girl. She was like 6'1", 6'2", and she's like carrying me in her arms and like literally like once we get to the door, she like tries to put me down, but I'm still not having any control of my legs. She knocks on the door and they're like, "What'd you do? What'd you do?" And then she was like, "We just had sex," and then they put me on the couch, and that was the end of my night until the very next day.
I just put you out, huh?
Put me out. Put me out on my feet.
Oh, well, I did have a room, and I was planning to book you, and then they sold their business, so I lost my room. But I just want you to know, there went my power for a sec.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, I do want to work with you more. And so as soon as I get a new room where I can book people, you're first on my list. So I
appreciate that.
really enjoyed you the one time that we worked together. So I'm glad you're able to come on and hang out with me today.
Yes.
And I'll see you around.
Yes, I'll definitely be around. I'm also a fan of yours. I don't know if I told you that when I met you, but like I remember seeing you on the cut video and I was like, hold on, wait. I think I know this lady.
I got a new one coming up, so watch out for it too. So
I will definitely be on the looks for it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.